The 6th generation of Pokémon introduces us to the Kalos region, a beautifully designed area inspired by France, known for its scenic beauty and diverse locals. Kalos is divided into 3 parts: Central, Coastal, and Mountain. Each part is home to different Pokémon and unique cultural aspects. So in this video, I will gather all brown Pokémon and rally through the Pokémon League in a Hardcore Nuzlocke. In a Pokémon Hardcore Nuzlocke, any Pokémon that faints is considered dead, and you can only catch the first brown-colored Pokémon you encounter in each area. No overleveling the next gym leader's ace Pokémon, no healing items in battle. Battle is always in set mode. And Mega Evolution can only be used if a trainer activates their Mega Evolution. Additionally, Pokemon Ami is banned. We start the journey as Chris Brown. We met our new friends while sitting in a coffee table. From now on, you can call me Chris. Choosing our starter Pokemon, we choose Chespin because it's brown. I've named it Brownie. Brownie has an impish nature, which means increased defense and decreased special attack. For our first encounter on Route 1, we found a Pidgey, and I named him LeBrown, or LeBrown James.
Depende.
LeBrown has a neutral bashful nature. We head out to Sandalwood Forest and then to Route 4 for our next encounter. The god himself, or herself, Bidoof. We named her Bella, and Bella has a speedy, jolly nature. On Route 32, we catch our next encounter, which is a Bumblebee. I named her Boney. I was hoping to get a Litleo though. Upon talking to this guy, he wanted a Bumblebee in exchange for a brown bird Pokemon, which is a Farfetch'd. We say farewell to Boney to get Quacklin the Farfetch'd. Quacklin has a speedy, jolly nature, and what's good about him is that he level ups fast. Early in this game, we have 4 members of the team, and 1 is overpowered for the first gym. After beating Skater Girl, we enter the museum, which is disguised as a gym, and look how sticky this web is. Now we have a flying type in our arsenal. We can sweep through Viola's team of bug type Pokemon with an aerial ease, winning us our first gym badge. Now that's an easy mode. Our journey leads us to Lumio City, the capital of the Kalos region. Professor Sycamore challenges us to a Pokemon battle, and I beat his Kanto starters with only rollouts. That is right, it's Chris Brown. We got a clean haircut from this barber shop. We also made friends with the O-Powers guy. He is also a brown skin colored person just like me. EV training in Generation 6 has never been this easy. It introduces a new feature called Super Training, so there's no more tedious grind in the wild areas. Although it's not the fastest method. Sometimes I might prefer this because I like keeping high scores. On Route 5 we get a new friend, a Skiddo, which I named Liz Brown. Liz Brown has a mild nature, which means increased special attack and decreased defense. Not a very good nature for a Skiddo. With the level cap increased, we can now evolve our Bella into a Bibarel, and the Brown into a Pidgeotto. On Route 6 for our next encounter, a Sentret, and his name will be Reiner Brown. He has a relaxed nature, which means increased defense and minus speed. I was caught by surprise by this double battle and forgot about the ability of Furfrou, which is Fur Coat, that doubles its defense when being hit by physical moves. Bella using rollout was a mistake, and I was unable to call her back, leading to her demise. You will never be forgotten, my friend. The original thumbnail of this video is a muscular Bidoof, but she died so I had to change it. It's quite weird watching fireworks in the morning. On Route 7, we caught a fairly light brown Pokemon, a Smurgle. I named it Bailey, and it has a mild nature, which means increased special attack and decreased defense. Why am I getting the worst natures? We can also evolve Reiner Brown into a cute little Furret. Now let's do the Furret walk. There goes our chance of catching a brown crocodile. Nah, we won't be needing it if it evolves into a crocodile. It's because it's obviously red. Inside Glittering Cave, I was expecting to catch a Cubone because of the 15% catch rate. But instead we got a brown powerhouse, a Kangaskhan. I caught it and I named her Blair. And Blair has a neutral docile nature. Now that's balanced. Deep inside Glittering Cave, there were these weird looking people dressed in orange. Upon beating them, we got the access to the Jaw Fossil. We received the Jaw Fossil to obtain a brown dinosaur, a Tyrant, which we named Brownies. Brownies has a lax nature, which means increased defense and decreased special defense. Another defense nature. On the beach side of Ambret Town, we faced our next encounter, a Dwebble, and I named him Brownlee. We are still early in the game and we already have a mob of brown Pokemon. But I'm still sad Bella had to go. And Brownie had a quick retirement. This is one of the coolest looking gyms, the Sillage City Gym, where you can rock climb for fun and look at the wonderful view. After all of the travels, it's finally time to face Gym Leader Grant and his team of dinosaur rock type Pokemon. Grant sent out Amora and I choose Blair to face it. I started the battle with a slap fake out, and on the next turn I used Bulldoze, almost knocking out Amora. Amora then used Thunder Wave. Grant used the Hyper Potion to heal Amora back to full health, but I landed a critical hit with Bulldoze. Grant's last Pokemon, a Tyrant. I sent out my own Tyrant to use Charm until its Oranberry was eaten. After the third Charm, I sent out Liz Brown. I used the classic Leech Seed and Protect Stall as Tyrant kept attacking with all he had. One last Leech Seed proc defeats Tyrant, and that earns our second gym badge. We now get rid of the clowns in orange on Route 10 and enter Geosenja Town. Geosenja Town. Whatever. Here when we face another skater girl with her 2 Lucarios, and she challenges us to a battle. I use Quacklin as our front line and we both start off with a Swords Dance. On the next turn I go for an Aerial Ace, but it's not enough to take out Lucario, and Lucario lowers Quacklin's special defense with the Metal Sound. The next turn, Lucario uses a priority move Feint that deals good damage thanks to Swords Dance. I finish off Lucario with another Aerial Ace. Another Lucario steps in and Quacklin uses an Aerial Ace, leaving it in the red as Lucario uses Power Up Punch, sending Quacklin into the yellow. And with Power Up Punch, it also raises Lucario's attack. One last Aerial Ace secures the win from the Skater Girl. On Route 11, we get a new encounter, a Staravia, which we named Betty. Betty also has the Intimidate ability that can lower the attack of a Pokemon upon its release. And one more thing, we are also going to leave Brownies because its evolution will no longer be brown. But what do you think? Nah, it's all red. Look how this guy scammed me with my last Citrus Berry. We now meet the Skater Girl again with her goofy looking grandfather. Like, what are those? The face-off between me and Serena begins to determine who will get the Mega Evolution Ring. For her first Pokemon, she goes with Meowstic, and I go with Blair the Kangaskhan. Blair opts for Fake Out to flinch Meowstic. It only takes 2 bites from Blair to take out Meowstic. For her next Pokemon is Absol, and it uses a priority quick attack. One return from Blair knocks it out. Serena's final Pokemon is her ace, Braixen. It only takes 2 Bulldoze to finish it off, and now the ring belongs to me. Entering the skate park of Shaller City, we witness another loss of our teammate as a random trainer with her sock hits Liz Brown with a critical hit low sweep. Liz would have been so useful if we faced the 5th gym. Say hello to Bella for me. We now face Skater Girl Karina with her team of fighting type Pokemon. She starts off with Mienfoo and I start off with Quacklin. I set up with Swords Dance as Mienfoo hits Quacklin with a critical hit Power Up Punch. With Power Up Punch, it also increases Mienfoo's attack. Quacklin knocks out Mienfoo with a 1-hit KO stab super effective Aerial Ace. And the same goes for her Machoke. She then sends out her ace, Howlucha. Not knowing Howlucha will outspeed, it knocks out Quacklin with a single Flying Press. I then sent out Lebron the Pidgeotto. Howlucha outspeeds again with a Flying Press, dealing a huge amount of damage to Lebron. Lebron goes for an Aerial Ace, sending Howlucha to the yellow. I won't risk Lebron going down, so I switch to Blair. And Howlucha goes for a Flying Press, and deep down I know Blair can survive. And she does, taking about half damage. On the next turn, Blair goes for Fake Out, sending Howlucha into the red. I should have used Return to knock it out immediately. On the next turn, Corina uses a Hyper Potion to restore Howlucha's health back to full, and Blair sent Howlucha back into the yellow with a Return. In the final turn, Blair surprisingly outspeeds Howlucha with another Return, defeating Howlucha and winning as our 3rd gym badge. Thank you Quacklin for all your contribution. On top of the Mega Evolution Tower, Corina challenges us to another battle to experience the Mega Evolution, and one of her Lucario sided with us, only to lose. But wait, time rewinds.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
To give us another chance, we managed to win by Mega Evolving our new friend. But sadly, we won't be using Lucario because of its blue collar. I gave it a nickname by the way, Azure the Lucario. On Route 12, we get ourselves a new brown encounter. Another brown powerhouse Pokemon, a Tauros, which we named Brown Stroman. For an angry bull, it has a gentle nature, which increases special defense and decreases defense. Another boring nature. And it also has the intimidate ability. Now we are talking. Talk about double intimidate in our team. We encounter the ladies' man professor, Sycamore, meeting with a young lady named Diantha who dresses like a fairy. On Route 13, I accidentally killed our next encounter, which is a dog trio. It could have been so useful to us later on. I should be careful next time. Serena challenges us to another battle just to get owned by Blair. Entering one of the most elegant looking gyms in the game, the Cool Marine City Gym, where you feel like a Tarzan. We now face the scissor-wielding old man Ramos with his team of grass-type Pokémon. He sends out Jumpluff and I respond with Blair. Blair goes for a slap fake out, causing a flinch. On the next turn, an aerial ace leaves Jumpluff in the red, and Jumpluff uses acrobatics dealing minimal damage. The old man uses a hyper potion, and I go for another aerial ace. And one last aerial ace finishes the job, where Ramos' next Pokemon is his ace, Gogoat. Blair uses an aerial ace, even though it's a super effective move, it only does minimal damage. While Gogoat goes for a critical hit Bulldoze, and the speed of Blair got lowered. Predicting another Bulldoze and get outspeed by Gogoat, I switch to Betty, and Betty uses an Intimidate. It only takes one stab super effective aerial ace to defeat Gogoat, and the same goes for his Weeping Bell. As a reward, Betty evolved into a Staraptor. And that's how I earned my 4th gym badge. Continuing on our journey, Brownlee evolved into a Crustle. Inside this facility, it was overrun by the clowns of Team Flare. LeBron has evolved into a magnificent Pidgeot. I took a stroll in Lumio City to visit the museum and found a picture of my favorite feature in a Pokemon game. That feature is known as the Battle Frontier. Do you think Game Freak will add the Battle Frontier in the mainline Pokemon games in the future?
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's
Butterfree.
We now face Boy Genius Clemont with his team of electric-type Pokemon. Clemont sends out Emolga, and I go with Brown Strowman. I start off with a workup to increase attack, and Emolga goes for a Volt Switch into Magneton. On the next round, Brown Strowman uses a quad-effective Bulldoze on Magneton, which it survives with 1 HP because of Sturdy. Magneton leaves us in the red with a powerful Thunderbolt. Clemont uses a Hyper Potion to fully heal Magneton, and Brown Strowman sends it back to the red with a quad-effective Bulldoze. One last Strength finishes it off, as Clemont sends out his ace, Heliolisk. With a speed EV investment, Brown Strowman outspeeds Heliolisk and knocks it out with a super effective Bulldoze, knocking out the lizard. Clemont sends out Emolga again. Brown Strowman uses a Rock Tomb, but it misses, and Emolga uses Volt Switch, leaving us in the red. I switch out Brownlee, who finishes it off with 1 Rock Slide, securing our 5th gym badge. He'll pay 5 million Poké-Dollars just to look like this? Serena challenges us to another battle just to lose again to Blair. You just won't learn your lesson, huh? Okay, I'll just tip this guy for trying to tell a scary story, even though it's pathetic. On Route 14, we met our next encounter, a Stunfisk, with her new name as Bea. And Bea has a relaxed nature, plus defense and minus speed. Time to face the bug-eyed girl gym leader Valerie with her team of fairy-type Pokemon. She sends out a Mawile with no stab moves. I sent out Brownlee to face it. Knowing this, I just go for setup moves just to have some fun. And I just swept through her entire team with no sweat, earning our 6th gym badge with ease. On our way to Frost Cavern, I wanted to steal this Mamoswine from this trainer, because you know, it's colored brown. But there is no need to do that, as we enter the cave and we meet our next encounter, a Piloswine. We named it Beanie. Beanie has an adamant nature which means increased attack and decreased special attack. Well, finally I have an awesome nature. With Beanie possessing an ancient power, she can evolve into a Mamoswine. Does this Abomasnow look lifeless? Now this jeans and boots will make me look good. Serena is getting annoying as she challenges me to another Pokemon battle, but this time she is much stronger. She sends out Meowstic and I go with Blair. Blair has no problems dealing with Meowstic. Then she sends out her ace, Delphox, who doesn't go down with a single crunch, as Delphox deals a lot of damage with Psychic, sending Blair to the yellow. One last crunch does the trick. Her next Pokemon is Jolteon. Anticipating a double kick, I sent out Brownlee. Jolteon goes for a double kick on Brownlee, and it does a tiny amount of damage. Jolteon outspeeds and uses Discharge, leaving Brownlee paralyzed. Brownlee uses an X-Scissor, leaving Jolteon into the red. I want Jolteon to be knocked out by the hail, so I switch to Beanie and Betty to let Jolteon get killed off by the hail. Our next Pokemon is Absol, and Betty defeats Absol with a super effective close combat. Serena, you're so annoying. And who sees gyms in the Carlos region are not memorable? Let's get this battle started with Olympia and her team of Psychic-type Pokémon. She starts the battle with Sigilyph, and I go with LeBrown. I equip with LeBrown with leftovers to make him a support and use Confide to weaken Sigilyph's special attack and to make sure Sigilyph deals less damage. I sent out Brownlee to Swords Dance to the max. One Rock Slide defeated Sigilyph, and one X-Scissor took out both Slowking and Meowstic, granting us our 7th gym badge with ease. After the battle, the annoying Serena returns to challenge us again to another battle, but thank God Lysander saves us. At the Lost Hotel, we catch a Trubbish and named it Becky. Becky has a rash nature, which means increased special attack and decreased special defense. Finally, we'll have our special attacker and she'll be perfect later on. We will now infiltrate Lysander Cafe to put a stop to Team Flare, and we are greeted by Lysander who challenges us to a Pokemon showdown. Battle begins with Mienfoo and LeBrown. One stab super effective aerial ace from LeBrown knocks it out. For Lysander's next Pokemon is Gyarados. I stole Gyarados with Feather Dance and Protect, and Gyarados almost killed LeBrown with a critical hit stab Aqua Tail, leaving him with only 2 HP. That was very close. LeBrown restores his health with Roost and the Protect to cover. I switch to Brown Stroman, and Gyarados used Aqua Tail with minimal damage thanks to Feather Dance. Brown Stroman used Work Up, and Gyarados went for an Aqua Tail again. On the next turn, Brown Stroman used Zen Headbutt, but it misses, as Gyarados used an Earthquake. 2 Zen Headbutts were all it took to knock Gyarados out. Lysander sent out Pyroar and I switch into Blair. Pyroar hit Blair with Fire Blast, a Slap with Fake Out, a Power-Up Punch to increase attack, and one last return sent it flying. And one last stab return from Blair finished off Murkrow. Okay, this is how girls see 5'11" next to a 6'. This is what happens if you don't do your research on trainers you're about to face. A Malamar just destroyed Brown Stroman with a super effective superpower. I then sent Betty to avenge Brown Stroman with a close combat. For a replacement, I chose Becky. Knowing all of my teammates are physical attackers, I trained Becky in special attack. With our new level cap of 59, we can evolve Becky into a Garbodor, as Garbodor has more brown color, and she is ready for a battle. Round 2 begins with Lysander sending at Mienshao as I lead with LeBrown. LeBrown whoops Mienshao with an aerial ace. Lysander sends out Gyarados and I use the same strategy as in the first battle. With its attack lowered, thanks to Feather Dance, I switch out to Betty to clean the house, leading the score with Lysander to 2-0. Before round 3 begins, let's enjoy this music first. Lysander will not give up until he has his precious Xerneas as the final round begins. Lysander's first Pokemon is Mienshao, and I respond using Betty. Betty destroys Mienshao with a stab super effective aerial ace, and a super effective close combat for Pyroar. For Lysander's next Pokemon is Honchkrow. I switch to LeBrown to prepare for Gyarados, because it will Mega Evolve and I need to be prepared, and Mega Gyarados has the power to wipe everyone in our team. Another problem is that stalling Honchkrow is difficult because it has the ability Super Luck, and combine it with Night Slash, the critical hit chances rises for every turn. It's a good thing LeBrown manages to withstand the blows. With LeBrown's resiliency, I decided to stall out the PP of Night Slash until I switched to Brownlee. Brownlee increased its speed with Rock Polish and its attack with Swords Dance. Thanks to Feather Dance, Honchkrow's super effective Steel Wing didn't do much damage. One Rock Slide finishes the job. Lysander's last Pokemon is his ace, Gyarados, which he Mega Evolves into a powerful and a destructive Pokemon, Mega Gyarados. With all the buffs we need from setup moves and type change from Flying to Dark, we can one-shot Mega Gyarados with a stab super effective X-Scissor, winning us the battle, and ending the Team Flare saga. Defeating Team Flare, we unlock the path to Route 18 when we catch a Gurdier and named her Brittany, and it has an Adamant nature, perfect for a fighting type Pokemon. I also evolved it into a Conkeldurr via trade evolution. At this drawbridge, we will face a challenge, a gauntlet battle with our friends. The gauntlet battle begins as the little girl Shauna challenges us to a Pokemon battle. Shauna sends out Delcatty, and I go with Betty. Betty uses close combat on Delcatty. An Ice Fang from Beanie takes down Goodra. and the Hammer Arm from Brittany defeats Greninja. Next up is Tierno, and Betty sweeps through Tierno's team with no sweat. The last one is the kid with the dorky hair, Trevor. He sends out Raichu, and I send out Betty to switch to Beanie. One Earthquake from Beanie knocks out Raichu. One hit Earthquake takes out Florges, and the one hit KO Ice Fang finishes Aerodactyl. Okay, time to head back to the gym, Santa. For the last gym battle, we face the Dadbot Wulfric, who specializes in Ice-type Pokemon. Wulfric begins the battle with the Abomasnow, and I go with Betty. With the Black Belt powered close combat, Betty takes down Abomasnow, and the same goes for his Cryogonal. Next is his ace Pokemon, Avalugg, with a monstrous defense stat. Knowing all my Pokemon are physical attackers, we use our secret weapon, Becky. Becky uses U-turn for little chip damage, and I switch into Becky, who tanks an avalanche from Avalugg. On the next turn, a one-hit, super effective Focus Blast annihilates Avalugg, winning us our last gym badge. Before going to the Pokemon League, I want to make some preparations. One of our preparations is to farm nutritious berries for our team. On Route 14, we catch a Funtump, which I named Brienne. Brienne has a quirky neutral nature. With Trade Evolution, we managed to evolve Brienne into a Trevenant. By leveling up fast, I grind using horde battles, and the poor ants had to suffer. We now enter Victory Road to face some of the toughest trainers, including our rival Serena. Serena challenges us one last time. She sends out her lead Meowstic, and I go with Blair, the Kangaskhan. Blair begins with a Fake Out, followed by a Crunch. Our next Pokemon is our ace Delphox. Delphox survives a Crunch, leaving it in the red, and Delphox uses a Stab Flamethrower, leaving Blair in the yellow. On the next turn, another Crunch takes out Delphox. She sends out Altaria, and I switch to Beanie the Mamoswine. One quad effective Ice Fang does the job. Next, she sends out Absol, and I switch to Brittany. Absol goes for Swords Dance. On the next turn, Absol uses a critical hit Slash, sending Brittany to the yellow. A one-hit KO Stab super effective Brick Break knocks out Absol. Next up is Jolteon. I switch to Beanie as Jolteon goes for Discharge, and Discharge doesn't affect Beanie. Jolteon goes for a Double Kick, and Beanie ends the battle with a Stab super effective Earthquake, taking out Jolteon and winning us the battle against Serena. With all the preparations, we have the final team entering the Pokemon League. Betty the Staraptor, Blair the Kangaskhan, Brittany the Conkeldurr, Brienne the Trevenant, Beanie the Mamoswine, and Brownlee the Crustle. Get this show on the road with the first battle against a woman with a fiery passion, Malva and her team of Fire-type Pokemon. Malva leads with a Pyroar and I respond with Blair, who is equipped with a Soft Sand to power up Ground-type moves. Blair starts off with a Fake Out to flinch Pyroar, and on the next turn, the Soft Sand super effective Earthquake knocks it out. Malva sends out Talonflame. Talonflame outspeeds Blair with a Flare Blitz, leaving with a Burn, which cuts Blair's attack in half. Blair responds with a Rock Tomb, sending Talonflame into the yellow. It would have been a one-hit KO because of Talonflame being quad weak to Rock if it wasn't for the burn status. Blair should have used Frostberry instead. I switch to Brownlee to tank a Brave Bird from Talonflame, which knocks it out because of recoil and the Rocky Helmet of Brownlee. It's just like Talonflame hit a wall. Alva's next Pokemon is Torkoal. Brownlee goes for a Swords Dance, and Torkoal hits Brownlee with a super effective Stone Edge. On the next round, Brownlee KOs Torkoal with a Stab super effective Rock Slide. Her last Pokemon is Chandelure. I switched in Brittany as Chandelure deals huge amount of damage with Flamethrower, prompting Brittany to use her Citrus Berry. On the next round, Chandelure uses Confuse Ray, but that doesn't stop Brittany from using Earthquake to finish the battle. I'm quite impressed. She never complains getting cooked up in here. Next up is the man with honor and valor, Quickstrom, the Steel-type specialist. Quickstrom starts off with Klefki, and I once again begin with Blair. Blair uses a flinching Fake Out, and on the next round, Klefki uses its Prankster ability to guarantee its first move if it's a non-attacking move. Blair KOs Klefki with a Soft Sand powered Earthquake. Quickstrom then sends out Aegislash. My strategy for Aegislash is to keep sending out Brienne if Aegislash goes for Sacred Sword, and if Aegislash goes for a Ghost-type attack, I will switch out to Betty to give it an Intimidate. Aegislash decides for an Iron Head, sending Brienne into the yellow and activating her held Citrus Berry. I switch out to Betty for another Intimidate, Betty goes for a U-turn and is switched back to Blair. Blair tanks an Iron Head and switches to Brienne. The spike sends back Brienne to the yellow again. I then switch to Brittany to set up Substitute and Bulk Up. And Brittany annihilates Aegislash with the Bulk Up powered Earthquake. Quickstrom's third Pokemon is Probopass. Probopass outspeeds with a Flash Cannon, destroying Substitute in the process. Brittany uses a quad effective Earthquake, leaving it at 1 HP because of Sturdy. And with a little leftovers to heal, Quickstrom heals Probopass with full restores. And another Earthquake from Brittany sending it back to 1 HP. Another full restore for Probopass and another Earthquake back to red. After running out of full restores, Probopass hits Brittany with a Flash Cannon. And one more Earthquake finishes the job. And that knocks it out permanently. For his last Pokemon is Scizor. Scizor hits with Iron Head and it flinches Brittany. If it wasn't for Bulk Up, Scizor might defeated Brittany. And that's a huge loss. I decided to stay as I have faith in Brittany that she can defeat Scizor. Another Iron Head flinches her again. One more Iron Head leaves Brittany in near death state. But Brittany prevails and one hit KO Scizor with an Earthquake, granting us the victory. The third Elite Four member is the cheerful middle-aged lady Drasna and her Dragon-type Pokemon. Her first Pokemon is Dragalge, and mine is Brittany. Dragalge uses a Sludge Bomb, poisoning her. But Brittany retaliates with a powerful super effective Earthquake, knocking out Dragalge in the process. Drasna's next Pokemon is Altaria, and then I switch to Beanie, and Altaria opts for Cotton Guard. On the next turn, Beanie outspeeds with a nice Fang. Even though it's quad effective, Altaria manages to survive because of Cotton Guard, which raises its defense by 2 stages. But luck is on our side, Beanie manages to freeze Altaria. A full restore is used on Altaria as I hit it again with a nice Fang. Another full restore follows, and Beanie attacks with a quad effective Ice Fang, sending it back to the red. And one last Rock Tomb to end Altaria. Her third Pokemon is Noivern, which detects my Oka Berry to protect it from fire moves. Noivern deals a good amount of damage with Super Fang, and Beanie knocks out Noivern with a quad effective Ice Fang. Drasna's last Pokemon is Jodegon. In the next couple of rounds, I stall it with Intimidate and give it a burn, until Betty finishes the battle with a close combat. The last member of the Elite Four is the man with grace, Cybold and his team of Water-type Pokemon. He leads with Clawitzer, and I go with Brienne. Brienne hits Clawitzer with a stab super effective Hornleech, knocking it out. Where Cybold's next Pokemon is Gyarados, who loves to dance. Why you ask? Cause it's the only move it knows. Brienne outspeeds with a Will-O-Wisp to cut Gyarados' attack in half, and Gyarados uses its favorite dance. Next I switch into Betty and Gyarados gets an Intimidate. And Gyarados continues to dance. Gyarados now outspeeds with Dragon Dance, and Betty hits with an Aerial Ace, and one last Brave Bird destroys the Dancing Dragon. His next Pokemon is his ace, Barbaracle. Betty uses a U-turn for a chip damage, so I sent out Brittany to tank a Stone Edge. Predicting a Razor Shell, I switch out to Brienne to tank it, and on the next round, a quad super effective Hornleech destroys Barbaracle. His last Pokemon is Starmie, who outspeeds and uses Light Screen, but another one-hit Hornleech ends the battle. And we have defeated the Elite Four. We now enter the final room to face the Pokemon League champion. It's time to end this run once and for all. We now face the Fairy Queen and the Pokemon League champion Diantha, who specializes in every type. Diantha sends out Hawlucha, and I respond with Betty. Betty swoops in with a stab super effective Aerial Ace, knocking out Hawlucha in one hit. For Diantha's next Pokemon is a Rock type Pokemon, Tyrantrum. Predicting a Head Smash, Betty uses a U-turn to switch to Brittany to tank an incoming Head Smash. On the next turn, Tyrantrum outspeeds with the Dragon Claw, sending Brittany into the yellow and eating her held Citrus Berry, and it only takes a stab super effective Hammer Arm to defeat Tyrantrum. Diantha's next Pokemon is Goodra. Goodra uses Dragon Pulse, dealing a lot of damage, and Brittany retaliates with a Hammer Arm, sending Goodra to the red, and with a speed drop penalty. I then switch to Beanie, knowing Diantha will use a full restore. Goodra outspeeds with a Focus Blast, but it misses, and Beanie delivers a one-shot super effective Ice Fang on Goodra. Her next Pokemon is Gourgeist. I switched in Betty to tank a Seed Bomb. Betty outspeeds with an Aerial Ace, but it's not enough to defeat it, and Gourgeist uses a Trick or Treat. Diantha uses a full restore, and Betty one-shots Gourgeist with a high roll Aerial Ace. For her fifth Pokemon is Aurorus. One quad super effective close combat to defeat Aurorus. For her final Pokemon, Gardevoir. Diantha activates Mega Evolution to transform Gardevoir into Mega Gardevoir. Betty goes for a U-turn to switch into Blair to avoid a Thunderbolt. And one final fake out followed by a stab return, giving us the victory over the Pokemon League champion Diantha. And that is the story of Chris Brown conquering a Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only brown colored Pokemon. Subscribe for more Pokemon content.